Paper 2, June 2022. We are going to do the questions that we think are predicted. Okay, so if you want to have a go at the other ones, it's always good just to hedge your bets. As always, formula sheet is on the inside cover, so please have a look at this just in case you need it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the left hand side. You can then have a second go at the right hand side, so what you might want to do is just pause it as you go through. So I'm at 4, I'm subtracting 5 off, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then minus 1. 2 multiplied by minus 3. So I've got a positive multiplied by a negative gives me a negative answer. So I've got 2 multiplied by 3 gives me negative 6. When I'm adding fractions together, my denominators need to be the same. Because they are, I can just add my numerators up, which gives me 3/7. Next one, 1/2 of 1.5. So if I've got 1.5, I've got 1.5. And if I'm halving that, it means I'm dividing it by 2. So I've got 0, carry the 1 over because I've not used it here. 2's into 15, goes 7 times to 14, remainder 1. 2's into 10, goes 5. So I've got an answer of 0.75. Write down the largest prime factor of 30. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list out my factors of 30. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. I'm now going to highlight my prime numbers from this list. 1 is not, 2 is, 3 is, 5 is, 6, 10, 15, 30 are not prime numbers. So 5 is my largest prime factor. Okay, you've got some questions to A go at. If not, we'll continue to crack on. What fraction of this shape is shaded? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shade in one of them there. So I'm going to say it's 1/3. Okay, the other side you can see it is shaded in a bit better. Next one says what percentage of this shape is shaded. So each one of these sections is worth 25%. So if I've got one section shaded, it's 25, 2, 25, 3, 75, and then 4 is 100. Sorry, I meant to say 2 is 50. Okay, so if I've got 2 shaded, I've got 50%. Again, it's shaded a bit better on the other side. Write 0.2 as a fraction. Give your answer in the simplest form. So 0.2 is in the tenths column. So I've got 2/10. That's worth 1 mark. If I simplify that, I can divide both bits by 2 because they've both got that common factor, which gives me 1/5 as my answer. Work out 80% of 30. Okay, so to find 10%, we do our amount divided by 10, because there's 10% in 100. So my amount is 30. Divided it by 10 equals to 3. So if 10% is equal to 3, 80% is equal to 8 lots of that amount. So I've got 8, 16, 24. So I've got 24. Again, have a go on the other side. Right, bananas cost 25p each. How many bananas can be bought for £2? So 25, 50, 75, 100, and then if I double that up, it gives me 8 bananas. Okay, so if 4 bananas is equal to £1, how many A's and N's are in a banana? That many, I think. Bananas. Okay, and then obviously double it up for £2. Student makes a fair 8-sided spinner. Write down the probability of student's spinner landing on the number which is less than 12. So I've got less than 12, and that's it. So I've got 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, also tells me there. Next one, find the probability of the student's spinner landing on a multiple of 3. So I'm thinking 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So on this spinner, I've got these as my possibles. So 12's on there, 15's on there, 18's on there. So I've got 3 out of 8. Okay, so write the ratio 5 to 7.5 in its simplest form. At the minute, we cannot have a decimal or a mixed number fraction. When we're simplifying a ratio, we should always have whole numbers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this value to a number that hasn't got a decimal as my second value. If I double both of them, let's see what that does. So double 5 gives me 10. Double 7 is 14, plus the double of the half, which is 1, so that gives me 15. Okay, so it's done. If doubling doesn't work, if I had the same starting point, because of the decimal places, if you multiply them by powers of 10, you'll eventually get rid of them. So I've got 1 decimal point there. So if I then multiply it by power of 10, that will get rid of it, and it will give me 50 to 75. Those 2 bits there are going to give us 1 mark each because we've got rid of the decimal section. What we now want to do is to simplify that. So if I take the 10 to 15, I can divide both of them by 5, which gives me a ratio of 2 to 3. If I was doing this one, could again divide them by 5 and then divide them by 5 again. I'll still get to that same answer. Taylor has collected data on the number of students who were absent from their school last week. The bar chart shows the results for the first 4 days. On Friday, there were 54 students who were absent from the school. Show this information. So I've got 54. So I'm going to use a nice ruler. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I've got 4. So I've got, let's just come across. So I know that I'm coming up to this line here. I'm going to get a rough, so it's about 5 mil. So bosh, I want to try and keep it. Okay, and then I'll just neaten up that. Do not spend your time shading in. If you're going to do anything, just do a little bit of hatching if you don't think your pencil is bright enough. Taylor says on Monday 150% of the students were absent from school. Could this be true? Explain how you decided. Well, the answer is no. Okay, and the reason for that is if everybody's off, the maximum people that can be off is going to be 100%. 150 would represent you've got everyone that's off, then suddenly you've got another half of them that are magically appeared from somewhere, but it just don't make sense. Okay, so the answer, its simplest form, is no. The maximum number off will be 100%. Again, you can't get more people off if you've only got a maximum of 100%. It just don't work. There are 600 students in Taylor's school. Find the percentage of students who are absent for Taylor's school on Thursday. So we know we're going to have a denominator of 600, and I want Thursday. So I'm going to go back over to my graph, and I've got Thursday. So I've got 42 people. So 42 people. So straight away, of the 3 marks, I've already got at least one of them marks, winner. Now we need to then start to simplify it. What I'm going to try and do is get it down to 100. So 600 down to 100 is divide by 6. So I'm going to divide the top value by 6 as well. So if I do my 6 times table, do it over here out the way, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, winner. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there, our numerator becomes our percentage. So there were 7% of people off. Right, multiply out. This is the same as saying expand in brackets. What's nice is it's telling you what to do. The value on the outside tells us how many lots of everything on the inside we need. So one way you can do this is do this. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, alternatively, you have got 5 multiplied by the x, 5x, 5 multiplied by the 2, and then 10. Rearranging the formula to make R, pirate's favourite word or letter, the subject. So first thing we need to do is we need to not panic. It's not as bad as you think. We've got to use our our solving equations skill. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the subtracting. So I'm going to get that over to the other side. Because I've got nothing to add p onto, I'm just going to do p add 5. So what that's done is it's moved it across. That's left me 3 r's on this side. I need to do division now to get rid of this multiplication. And then I've got my p add 5, and this is where it's slightly different, divided by 3. And then that leaves me with the r on its own. R is now the subject because it's on its own. So I'm going to put r is equal to p add 5 divided by 3. Okay, Nice little addition with decimals. 3.08 add 0.82. Notice I've aligned everything. Take that time. I know it's only worth 1 mark, but take that time. 8 add 2 is 10. 0 add 1 is 9. 3 add 0 is 3. This time I'm going to do my boss stop. 7.7 divided by 11. 11's into 7. Doesn't go. Decimal point up. This 7's not being used, so I bring it over. 11's into 77 goes 7 times. So my answer is that. Okay. Right, I've got an interesting BIDMAS question here. So the first thing I need to do is I need to look at this bit here. So I'm going to do 2.1 subtracted off 3/5. Okay, so what I want to know first of all is what is 3/5. So I'm going to do top divided by bottom. 5 into 3 doesn't go, so we carry over the 3. 5 into 30 goes 6 times. So this becomes 2.1 subtract 0.6. 1 subtract 6 you cannot do, so I'm exchanging. 11 subtract 6 gives me 5. 1 subtract 0 gives me 1. So what I'm now left with is 1.5 multiplied by 0.3. I'm going to take out 2 decimal places, and I'm going to do this calculation instead. 15 multiplied by 3, so 3 15s, so 5, 10, 15. 3 times 1 is 3, add the 1, 4, right? Because I took out 2 decimal places, I need to put 2 decimal places back in, which means that the decimal point has moved 2 positions, which has pushed the values down. Okay, so whatever you take out, however many decimal places you take out, you need to put them back in. Question number 9. A local theatre is putting on a show. Oh, lovely. 50 children's tickets are sold. The ratio of child tickets sold to adult tickets is child to adults 5 to 2. And I'm going to stop at this point again. I'm going to put the 50 under. And I'm getting that. Okay, so because children's saying it's 50, my 5 represents the children, so I've multiplied it by 10 to get up to the 50. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So in total then I've got 70 tickets sold, but I need to know the total cost when I know about my children's tickets and also my adult tickets. So let's look at the child, and then we can then look at the adult, and then we're going to add them together. So I've got £2.50 multiplied by 50. So I've got 0, 0, 0. 5, I need to drop my 0 first. 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. So 5 carry the 2. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Add the 2 is 12. Right? So that gives me that answer of this. which seems massive at the minute. But if we go back to the skill from the last page, in my question I had 2 decimal places, so I need 2 numbers in my this answer here. So I've got my 2 places, gives me £125 for the kids. It's for the kids. Right, we've got adult tickets, which is £5, and I'm multiplying that by 20. So I've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay, so the adults are worth a ton. Now I've got 125 added on to my adult ticket, so adults gives me £225. Number 10. The diagram shows Kai's garden. It is in the shape of a right-angled triangle. Kai is going to spread grass seed on the garden. Okay, so if he's spreading grass seed, that means it's going inside the shape. A bag of grass seed covers the area of 35 square meters. Each bag costs £8.99. Kai can buy whole bags of grass seed. Kai buys at least the least number of bags needed for the garden. Calculate the cost. So because it's going inside, and they've given us this clue here, area, first thing I want to do is find the area of a triangle. So I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. So 20 multiplied by 15 divided by 2. You know, just by writing that, I've already got a mark. So I'm going to do this. 20 multiplied by 15. 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Drop my 0 because I'm moving into the tens column, a placeholder. 1 times 0 and then 1 times 2. So I've got 300, but I now need to divide that by 2, which gives me an area of 150 meters squared. Oh. Right. 35 square meters per bag. So I'm now going to do 35, 70, 105, and then 100. What am I going adding on 35? 140, and then I've got 175. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags are needed. So I've got, let's write that there just to secure that answer. And then I've got £8.99 multiplied by 5. 5 multiplied by 4 is 45. Carry the 4. 45 again, but this time add that, gives me 49. 40, 8 fives is 40, add the 4, gives me £44.95. If you look at the marks here, 6 marker, obviously the key thing there is, once you know the area of a triangle, which isn't on your formula sheet, the rest of it, we're laughing. Ha 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 ha. Some students were asked how they travel to school. Each student gave one answer. The pie chart shows the proportion of who travelled by bus, train or car. All the remaining students travelled by either bike or by car. The ratio of bike to car is in that ratio of 2 to 3. Okay, so I've got 5 parts there in total. I need to complete the pie chart. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these up now that I've done that. 160, add 60, add 20. 0, 12, 14, 240. But a pie chart in total is out of 360. So I'm then going to do 360 subtract my 240, which leaves me with 120 degrees left. This 120 degrees I'm now going to put over to here, because that's what I need to share out to find out what the bicycles and the cars as an angle will be. So 120 divided by 5, 5's into 1, carry the 1, 5's into 12, goes twice, remainder 2, 5's into 20 is 4 times. So everything's getting 24 times bigger. 2 lots of 24 is 48, and then I'm just going to confirm it just so I'm not getting it wrong. 48 is 12, 6, 7, and then I've got 72. So I now need to draw them two angles, which is where your protractor comes. With a pie chart, because generally when you're doing a pie chart you're always coming around clockwise, that means you can use your outside values. So on here I'm going to align the crosshairs on the very center, and off of the line that was last drawn I'm going to line it up. So I've got my starting point here. I need to go to 48, so outside numbers 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, and obviously use a pencil please, not like me. Here, notice everything else is labelled, so I'm going to label it 48, and then this is for the bikes. If I've done everything right here, this should be 72, so if I measure it, yeah, so I'm about 71, so I'm in within tolerance of it. I'm going to label it up as my 72, and this time my cars. Which way of travelling to school is the mode? Well, it's the biggest value, the most common thing, so bus. Standard form. Standard form did come up on the last paper, but you never know, it might come up again. Dinosaurs first appeared on Earth 2.4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8 years ago. Dinosaurs became extinct on Earth 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7 years ago. Explain why it is appropriate to use standard form. So standard form represents big long numbers. Okay, so actually by writing them smaller you're not having to write this value here. So if we do 2.4, 1, 2, 3, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we don't need that last one. So we would be writing, you know, saying that number out. Okay, so if you look, you've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. Okay, so you've got 240 million years ago, yeah, or 70 million years ago. So it's very much a case of it's a quicker, more efficient way of writing it. So you could put here, so standard form simplifies, nice mathematical word, long values to be more manageable. Imagine if you're on a calculator paper, manageable, that'll do. Okay, so if you're on a calculator you don't really want to write that long number out because you can make a mistake with the zeros. That is a lot easier. Use the given information to work out how long the dinosaurs existed on Earth. Give your answer in standard form. So the first one we've got then, I've already done this number up here. So 2, 4, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next one I'm going to do is down here. So 7, and I'm going to put, so decimal points here at the minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice however many place values it is, I'm just putting that many zeros and seeing how many I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I do need them all this time. And then I'm going to put these back. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to go from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the actual 7 goes there. So zeros. That I can't do, so I'm borrowing. 14 is 7, and I've got 1. Okay. That's a long number because I need my answer in standard form. My first value needs to be less than 10. Okay. So I need to find out where I'm going to put my decimal point in. And my decimal point is going to come here. Okay. So I've then moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions. Okay, and if I go from here, because I've gone at the minute it was there, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions. So I've got to the power of 8, and that 1.7 is that first value. So I've got first value needs to be between 1 but less than 10, multiplied by how many place values I've then moved it. Complete the statement by writing the missing power in the box. So I'm looking for this value here. So I'm going to work out this first of all, which will be 7 multiplied by 7 equals 49. Okay. If I look at here then, I've got 784 needs to go inside and my 49 on the outside. Okay, are the right numbers? Yes. So I've got how many 49s go into 7? Doesn't go into 78. So I've got 49 and I've got 98. So it's only going to be one whole time. Okay, so then 78 subtract the 49 gives me 9. 294 is then what I'm looking for next. Okay, don't know why I've just scribbled that out, I might need it. So I'm going to look at now is how many 49s go into 294. Okay, so I'm going to do the times table again over here. Okay, so I've got my first 2, and then I'm going to go, and what I'm going to do is, actually I'm not going to do that, don't ignore me. So 8 add 9 is 17, 4 add 9 gives me 13, add that one is 14, so I've got that. Right, I'm now going to do 7 add 9 is 16, 8 add the 1 is 9, get rid of that one because that's off of it, and where am I? So I've got 1 and I've got nothing carried over, so I have got 196. Notice this number's going up and this number's going 4949. So what I'm thinking now is that that will be 2, 4, 5, and then 2, 9, 6. Sorry, 2, 9, 4. Okay, I've seen a pattern: 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4, 9, 4, 9, 4, 9. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got this number needs to be equal to 16. It's quite a lot of work. There's probably an easier way of doing it, but for 1 mark. So I've got 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. Multiplied by 2 is 8. Multiplied by 2 is 16. So this power is 4. Made me work hard for that 1 mark, but I've got it. Right, so here it says, use your answer to part A to find out the square root of this. Okay, so let's have a look then and see what we know and how we can then work this out. Right, see, this calculator has magically appeared because I was just trying to find a quicker, easier way of looking at it, and if I'm honest, the mark scheme's not really helped me out either. The one thing that seems to be is it's looking at this number here, and they're looked at like 7 squared is 49, then they went through and did 14 squared, 21 squared, 28 squared. So they looked at this second side based off of the fact that we knew this first of all. They then looked at that to then help you out, and then 28 squared is then your answer, but it's the 28 because the square root of 784 square rooted equals to 28. Okay, I will find out a better way of doing that for you and then go through it. Not seen one like that before, which is interesting, but we'll have a look and then just see what the best way possible for that is.